1.
All right, everyone. We are coming back with the second half of Slosh's double header of runs here. We are going to be getting into some rolled out expert warps. I have to say, this is one of the runs that I personally was most excited for when I saw the schedule drop. And so I am very excited to reintroduce Slosh. Please take it away.
All right, hey everyone, I'm Slosh. I am still Slosh. I'm back for my second run of the marathon rolled out expert with warps. Rolled Out is an indie marble roller by Polar Bite Games. I think that's the thing. And Sky Map Games. I almost combined them. Don't combine them. But Expert is a 100 stage category that is actually still in the works. It is not fully officially released yet, but shoutouts to the devs for giving me access to the beta branch to show this epic category off for everyone. But before we jump on into it, I believe that there was a character bid war that I'm going to need to know the winner of.
Absolutely. Let me just go ahead and refresh one more time to make sure we did not catch anything in the intermission. But no, with a $35 lead, Chartreuse the Giraffe is going to be crushing Expert for us.
All right. Chartreuse is very awesome. Fun fact about the characters in this game, all of them except for Rook use they, them pronouns. Rook, the field unit, uses she, her pronouns. So we've got a non-binary giraffe in the ball.
Giraffe pride.
Also, I think that this may have been the first character bid war that Rook has lost since she was added to the game. Impressive legacy finally toppled. Alright, but with all of that shenanigans out of the way, going to give a quick countdown and then we're going to be off. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. This is one of those categories that I definitely like to say I'm going to need it because this is a brutal collection of stages. And ironically, the first 3 stages is actually one of the hardest portions of the run, at least to get on a really good pace. Because the first 2 stages are long-ish gauntlet type stages with a very challenging ending, and I'm not even going to make it to the ending. I'm going to just cut my speed a little too much and bonk the platform with the wormhole. But then the third stage has an incredibly difficult warp goal that is kind of handy. So the way warp goals work in this game, there are 2 tiers of warp goals. There are green goals and there are red goals. Green goals skip 1 stage, red goals skip 2. And okay, timing was way off. If I cannot get to this red goal, then I'm going to just take the blue goal after a while and play a couple extra stages. But given the fact that this goal skips 2 stages, it is very handy to have, even if it takes a little while to get through that very fast gate. And you can tell if a goal is a green goal, a red goal, or just a regular blue goal based on particle effects at the base of the goal. There are very difficult to notice green particles at the base of green goals. I just completely missed the opening on airtime. And then you can very clearly see the big red polka dots at the base of red goals, and then blue goals don't have any particles. There is actually a third type of warp goal that is a purple goal that can have just a random set warp distance. There's like no fixed amount of stages that you skip, but unfortunately there are no official stages yet that use warp goals. Also, this is a bonus stage. This game has bonus stages. We don't play them. They're pretty much there as breather stages to collect coins for extra lives if you are not using the just give yourself a bunch of extra lives. I think it's a debug feature, but it is very handy for a category this challenging. Fun fact about bonus stages, if you press the retry button while on a bonus stage, you skip that long pan-in of the next stage. So, and given the fact that bonus stages don't count for the in-game timer, retrying on a bonus stage is actually speed tech. Now we've got the ice floor mechanic here on the stage of Vert, as we are now in the ice caves. Ice floor, it's ice. You don't have any friction, so you can build up a lot more speed than you'd normally be able to build up. We're gonna take the green goal, even though there is a red goal.
Are you ready?
Because the red goal is so high in the air that it's actually slower to go for it.
Finish.
Because Hard at Work has that cool strat where you can just get bonked by the back of the hammer and skip pretty much the whole thing. More ice. Okay. Yeah, I went for a little too much. I tried to be fancy. I tried to skip too many steps. We're gonna still go for that first stair skip on that opening
Clear.
flight of stairs, but not go for the silly business on the second.
Ready.
Now we got a combo of two really cool strats here on Ship Off the Block. And neutral a little bit so that way we don't bonk the icicles that are at the top of the goal. And now Fidget, this is a strat that I want to hit probably more than any other in the run, because it is very temperamental but really cool, and this is one that I pretty much discovered myself. There we go. That one was really feisty earlier today in practice. Very glad that I was able to hit
Are
that.
you ready?
Um,
Roll.
There is a stage in this game called I Hate You, believe it or not. Even though Chartreuse's heart is full of love, the stage still hates Chartreuse. How dare this
Let's
stage?
get ready. Start.
We're almost through the ice cave. We're going to be skipping the final stage, which is called Sawteeth. It's a pretty tough ice stage that gets kind of narrow towards the end. Fortunately, skating has a green goal that will skip it.
Ready.
Alright,
Get rolling.
that was a pretty solid ice cave. Now we're into Foggy Mountains. I'm gonna completely miss the goal on bicycle. This is a stage. This is a stage that, in a recent round of stage changes, got buffed very hard. Why am I missing this strat?
Roll.
This is not a hard strat, I swear. I'm throwing for content. That is a stage that casually got buffed really hard, and in the speedrun did not change whatsoever. I am going to go for something kind of cool, and I'm going to get too many clips. Okay. I was trying to do a funny little strat here on corner crossings where you pretty much just glide over the entire stage, and I'm still gonna mess it up anyway, because I'm cracked like that. Okay. It literally saves only 2 seconds to do pretty much the IL strat was what I was going for initially. I've got Windy Walk with the wind mechanic. Wind just pushes you around, which on stages like that can get really annoying, but there's a stage up ahead called Parkour where it's really, really cool.
Are you ready?
Now we got pretty much one of the most unique uses of seesaws in the game, and also some of the most temperamental seesaws in the game. We got Whisked Away. We got a bunch of whisks, we gotta build up speed, and hop from whisk to whisk. And I don't really know why I tried to go for that jump. I did not have a whole lot of speed. I should have gone for an extra cycle. If I had gone for an extra cycle, I may have actually been able to skip the third whisk. But the thing about third whisk skip is it is incredibly unforgiving. Because the timing for hopping out of this whisk is very tight. And if you miss it, you are in the abyss below. which I do not recommend. Giraffes do not like to be in the abyss beneath these stages, so do not send them there.
Finish. Ready, set, get rolling.
That stage parkour that I was talking about. So there's a wind volume in this pit that flows upward. I'm going to use that to fall in the hole.
Roll.
Let's try that again. We're going to get a really high clip off that trim. Use that to get up in the air to have less friction on
Clear.
the ground running at that trim that we're going to use to clip across the gap and skip
Ready, set,
at least half the stage. More like the entire stage because we skipped the first half with the wind volume. That was a stage that I was really hoping there was going to be something cool on, because it was kind of slow and tedious without that.
ready,
I'm very happy that parkour turned out to be a really cool stage. Now we got lateral rungs. Yeah. I got into a really awkward spot where I couldn't really move past the rung arm, and also the camera was like fighting against me, so I just sort of rolled out the side. These things happen. Now we got long loading time, goofy geometry.
ready, set,
The geometry here is indeed pretty goofy.
Yeah.
Every time you have to retry on this stage, you're losing a lot of time because the loading time on this stage, I don't know why. It probably has to do with the stage having what I would assume to be a wild triangle count.
finish.
You don't want to fall off of that stage ever because the retry. Actually, I don't think the loading time affects the in-game timer, and we do use in-game time to time speed runs of this game. Now we got one final stage left in the Foggy Mountains, and then we're going to be moving on to the fourth world theme in Expert, the Candy Factory, which is... I almost forgot about the hole right in front of the goal. Candy Factory visually is one of my favorite world themes.
Are you ready? Get rolling.
And it is home to the sticky floor mechanic, which is on the stage. We will not be using sticky floor on the stage though, because taking the sticky floor is slow. Sticky floor is very sticky. But you can use sticky floor to climb along walls and ceilings and stuff. It's really cool, but it does not change the alignment of gravity.
Finish.
So if you are on a wall or a ceiling that is sticky floor, and move to a part of the wall or ceiling that is not sticky floor, you will plummet straight on down. There is a mechanic that does change the alignment of gravity that we will be seeing later in this run. I went a little bit too fast, so I'm not going to be able to get the final wire skip. I never play that wire. I'm very glad that I was able to successfully go across it. I was trying to use one of the ramps as it popped up in front of the blue goal to skip on top of the frame of the stage and just roll all the way over to the green goal, but no cheeky skips for the giraffe tonight, I guess. At least not there. There are plenty of cheeky skips later in the run. Also think that, thinking about where we are at in the run now would be a pretty good time for any messages from the host.
All right. Well, I would love to talk about our lovely prize pack right now. We have a suite of games helpfully and lovingly contributed by Devolver Digital, including some, in my personal opinion, indie all-stars on the level of this cool little marble roller called Rolled Out, including but not limited to Death's Door, The Messenger, and Hotline Miami 1, all available at just a $5 donation. So if we want to start a chartreuse train, that would be so cool. If this run is as amusing or as hyped to you as it is to me, hop on in there. There's lots more indie gaming goodness where that came from.
Finish.
Okay, so that stage was an auto-scroller normally. Fortunately, there are rails that you can roll along
Ready.
and just
Get rolling.
completely skip the whole thing. I unfortunately tried to leave the rail a little too early and bonked the side of the gold platform. Oh, we just had to break the stage wide open twice.
Get rolling.
Come on. Want a good... If I had been ready for that, so... Sometimes you get to a spot of a stage that normally you'd get like a clip upwards, and the clip just doesn't happen. Does not happen as often in Rolled Out as it does in, say, like Super Monkey Ball.
Clear.
But it does sometimes happen, and Ramp Rush is one of those stages where you can get some pretty wild times on the stage if you're ready for it. Unfortunately, I was not ready for it that time. And this is a stage that we actually don't take the warp goal on. Because one, that warp goal is very hard, and two, there is going to be a mechanic implemented, I think soon, for warp goals that are right in front of bonus stages, where instead of only skipping the bonus stage, it will skip the stage after the bonus stage. Because if we were to take the green goal on lifts now, we would only be skipping the bonus stage instead of skipping Disarray. So we would still have the full pan-in on Disarray, but if we just take the blue goal, retry on the bonus stage, that is actually faster. That will not always be the case from what I have been informed of. Also, Strategy is a really cool stage, uses touch activation platforms to pretty much any floor that you touch will fall away. So you have to be strategic about how you navigate through the stage. Come on.
Get rolling.
I was supposed to get a clip that just goes like straight into the goal, and sometimes that doesn't happen. There we go. That's how that was supposed to work. We're also in the Desert Ruins. I completely forgot to mention that.
Let's get ready. Get rolling. Roll.
Completely forgot, like... Why am I forgetting how to play this stage? There we go. That's the rhythm. That's the rhythm. There we go. I don't know why I forgot that it's up left.
Are you ready?
That is a really cool stage, though. Really interesting use of geometry. Had a little too much speed there, fell off the platform. The Desert Ruins is actually filled with gauntlet-type stages. We got Skeleton Key, and then the final 3 stages of the Desert Ruins are all gauntlets. And I think the next stage is also, yep, Pegboard is indeed next. We are going to try and skip all of it. I'm going to just completely not turn how I'm supposed to turn, and I'm going to fall into the hole. There we go. Using the little flappy boards to bonk all the way across to the goal, skipping the entire stage. This stage has sand floor that we just hit right there. Sand eats up your momentum. So, like, it's there on this stage to pretty much make sure that you don't have way too much speed out of the first scoop and just fly into the hole at amazing speeds. Now we've got the gauntlet stretch at the end of the desert, starting off with trade-off. There are 4 different like arms of the stage, each with a button at the end. And each button will bring down a piece of the bridge to the goal. We don't need to hit all of the switches, though. So we're gonna hit the second and the third switches, as that gives honestly pretty much the easiest and most efficient bridge to get across. Now we got Forgotten Path. This stage was added to rolled out very, very recently. However, this is in fact a very old stage. A handful of the developers for this game started out as Super Monkey Ball ROM hack creators. And Forgotten Path was in the Super Monkey Ball ROM hack Super Monkeyed Ball. And it had been looking like Forgotten Path was going to be added to rolled out for a while, but then it still wasn't added. So there came a point where I was convinced that that stage truly had been forgotten. But alas, I was mistaken. And, you know, honestly, I'm glad for it. That's a cool stage. I'm glad that it came back.
About how much of this game owes its legacy to those early Super Monkey Ball fan games and hacks?
Oh no. That is an interesting question. I don't know exactly, but there are a lot of stages in this game that I do recognize from those Super Monkey Ball ROM hacks, and then there's a very large quantity as well that are brand new. I don't even think that there's a way that this stage could work in Super Monkey Ball, because this stage has gravity floors, changes the alignment of gravity, and Super Monkey Ball does not have that. So if that stage was in a Monkey Ball ROM hack, it would have been very different. That is also something about a lot of stages that came over from the Monkey Ball ROM hacks to rolled out, is there's a decent handful of those stages that got significantly changed in rolled out due to just rolled out having more different types of floor mechanics and also wind. So like the stage earlier in Foggy Mountains, Windy Walk, that I commented on, that stage used to be in a Super Monkey Ball ROM hack, but it did not have the wind mechanic, so it played very differently. So yeah, even if there are a lot of stages that did originally come from a Monkey Ball ROM hack, they are very different in rolled out, and honestly have their own sort of identity in this game compared to their Monkey Ball counterparts.
That's awesome.
Now,
You can tell both the nostalgia and the very high concept, cool new stuff throughout this game.
that attempt of It's Alive should not have worked, because the camera partway through started fighting against me. That stage uses, I think it might be the newest mechanic to stages, and that is object scaling. So that wire was indeed shrinking and growing on a set cycle. Getting through that stage on my first try is a huge relief. I don't know why I'm falling off at the end of this stage. It's kind of ironic. This stage, I feel like I fall off of more these days than It's Alive, but I always say It's Alive is one of the two hardest stages in VR by quite a bit, and this is not the other one. The other one is a stage coming up called Hideous Hoops. What? Okay. Chartreuse, I know that this is a cool computer simulation that we're in, but we gotta move. We've got trees to plant. Get out of the computer. Okay. I feel like Chartreuse has found a way in the VR world theme to rickroll a lot of people very efficiently, and they're very content on staying in this world. But we don't want to stay in this world. We want to get to the end of the run as fast as possible. That's what speed running is all about. Into neutral.
You were saying that every bid war thus far has gone to Rook. Can we blame it on new character quote unquote beginner's luck?
I think there's a part of that, and a part of also Rook has been classified by a few members of the fan base as just a little thing.
That'll do it, yeah.
God dang it. Okay, so this stage is that one that I mentioned a few moments ago, Hideous Hoops. It is a very, very challenging wire stage. These hoops are very hideous and are tilting back and forth, and I am trying to use this game's focus mode mechanic. So, I don't know why I came out of focus mode like that. That was not the best decision making, and I am actually starting to run low on focus meter, so I need to focus on up and get through the stage, and then I'll explain the mechanic. So that sort of bluey green meter in the bottom right corner next to the minimap, that is my focus mode meter. You fill up the meter by collecting coins, so collecting coins is actually very important, especially in categories with really tough precision-based stages like that one. When you are using focus mode, the game will slow down, giving you more time to react and make specific inputs, and on wire stages like Hideous Hoops, it is very, very, it's a handy mechanic to have. That is a stage that I used to get stuck on. I don't know why I went for that cycle. Hideous Hoops is a stage that I used to get stuck on at times for like 5 minutes straight. But utilizing focus mode really cuts down the time that I get stuck on that stage, so. While using focus mode, however, it does not slow down the stage timer or the in-game timer, so you are losing time when you use it, but in the grand picture, if you are getting through a stage faster utilizing it than you would not, it's definitely something that you want to use. Also, we are in the Haunted Grounds world theme, home to Tight Fit, which is a stage. It is an evil stage, but it is a stage. So these are bumpers. If you hit one, you go bouncing backwards, sometimes really, really fast. There's probably an IL or individual level strat that would involve like getting hit by a bumper in a specific way where you like fall down a layer and then hit another bumper and then bounce all the way up to the goal. It'd be really cool if that was RTA viable, but I don't think it is. So now we are to Don't Look Back. This stage is really unique in it requires a lot of air movement knowledge. So those platforms at the bottom of each drop were spring pads. However, they were also like touch activation platforms, so an animation would play breaking the springs upon hitting them. So if you are not making any movement inputs, you will fall faster.
Let's get ready.
So you need to not make any inputs on the way down, or make as few inputs on the way down as possible. And then going up, just move as much as possible, pretty much. I realized that I've not explained the mechanic of boosting. So inputs in this game are drawn in a square. So if you are moving diagonally, you will accelerate faster. So on Don't Look Back, when you're going up, you want to boost as much as possible. That is a stage that I was honestly kind of surprised to see in an RTA course because it is an absolute knowledge check of a stage. Which I suppose is pretty cool. We're also coming up to what is, in my opinion, the hardest stage in the run, and the hardest stage in an official RTA setting. I say official RTA setting because Master has not released yet, and there is a stage in practice mode that is going to be in Master. But here's our super tricky stage, Earthworm.
Get rolling.
It's kind of funny. This stage, when it first got added, was laughably easy. And in one round of changes to this stage, it became an absolute nightmare. Fortunately, I was able to get through it fairly easily. Now we got the final stage in Haunted Grounds, Scoot and Scaffolding. This scaffolding sure can scoot. This is a stage that
Roll.
is not that hard if collision is on your side.
Roll.
Pretty much, I'm trying to get a clip off of these checkers like that. Just skip straight over here to this wormhole that takes us atop the scooting scaffolding. And now it's just pretty much rolling to the goal.
Clear.
I need to hydrate. You all should make sure that you're staying hydrated as well.
Hydration check, chat.
Get rolling. Roll.
Or gravity floor. Wiffle ball mania. So the goal is like straight above the start of the stage. So you just
Clear.
get enough of a run up, fling yourself into the goal.
Ready.
This is a neat stage because this stage used to not be animated whatsoever. Oh, come on. That would have been a really cool save if I could have gotten it. I'm trying to skip the, like, second to last ring and go straight into the goal. I could have actually done it that time, but I did not think that I had the distance, so I started pulling back, and I indeed had the distance. Oops. Alright, let's try that again. Actually, yeah, I needed to bounce on the second to last ring that time. I did not quite have the angle I was going for.
Let's get ready.
This is usually an easy stage, but there are times when it just decides that it is gonna own you.
Roll.
Hopefully we don't get stuck too long on it, because there are a few stages in this world theme Heavenly Chamber coming up that are brutal.
Are you ready?
Pills is usually not one of them. But sometimes the stage decides to get a little bit cheesy. Okay, so you need to tilt the gravity on each pill, bounce on the spring pad, and then just not land on the last pill, because that's slower than just dunking the goal.
Set. Get rolling.
Unboxing is another one of those stages that we're just not going to play. That is IL World Record on the test branch, and it is nowhere near IL World Record normally. This is easily the hardest stage we have left. I am going to focus up a little bit, though. Okay, that stage normally does not go that well. We do not take the warp goal because the wire to the warp goal is even thinner, and it's really not worth it at that point. But now we've got a 40-second auto-scroller, so if there are any messages from the host, now would be a fantastic time.
Amazing. I can pick that up. Just to jump in and remind everyone that we are raising money with this Team Green Gaming Fest for the environment, but more specifically for One Tree Planted, which is a charity focused on reforestation. They plant one tree for every $1 that is donated. And you can check them out at onetreeplanted.org. Also, while we're finishing up the auto-scroller, want to shout out our next open incentive, which is for Mario Kart Wii Item Rain Reverse or Normal Tracks Bid War. So if you want to see Run go backwards, but very fast, get in on that.
Get rolling.
Methinks I'm trying to go a little too fast on this stage. Let's try a little bit slower. There we go.
Finish.
Tried to get a little bit fancy unnecessarily and died twice, so that was time loss. This is a stage I'm not going to play any of.
Clear.
Now we've got one final stage left in Heavenly Chamber. We've got Lonely Landings. We've got to tilt gravity in various directions and then fall to the next platform, and eventually we will reach the goal. And the next world theme is maybe my personal favorite in the game, although that may just be because it is the brand new world theme that currently is exclusive to Expert. And also I'm a sucker for volcano world themes in games. We got the volcano! So, as I mentioned before, this world theme is brand new. It got added along with Expert. There had been sort of indications that the volcano world was going to be coming for, I believe, quite a few months before it ended up getting added, and I was waiting with such giddy anticipation for it to be added.
Ready.
Because in like games like Super Monkey Ball and Mario Galaxy and stuff like that, the volcano worlds are always near the top of my favorite list, and Rolled Out's volcano does not disappoint. This stage has ice in the volcano. I think it's very confused, but it is a very cool stage, so I'm going to give it a pass. Also, I forgot to mention this actually back in VR when there were a couple stages that had baby goal. There is goal scaling. Just like object scaling to, like, you know, floors and walls and stuff like that, you can also scale the size of the goal in Rolled Out. And flow cones had a very large goal. Actually, the last stage in the run also has a ginormous goal, so be on the lookout for that when we get there. I feel like there was something else important about the volcano that I have now forgotten. Oh yeah, so the goal is very small in volcanoes normally. I sort of also did not mention before now that each world theme in Rolled Out has its own goal type. So, like in Candy Factory, it was the little lollipop. In Volcano, it's two little volcanoes. Since there is no top to the goal in Volcano, you can really get trolled by the goal on a few stages. That is actually one of the stages. You can like fall straight through the top of the goal and not go in because who knows why. But now we've got a stretch of probably my two favorite base game stages. Drone, which ironically we're going to skip like the entire thing, and Roller Mine.
Ready, set.
Roller Mine, I don't know, it just is really cool. It gives me a lot of like, okay, that worked, that almost never works. It gives me a lot of like, again, Mario Galaxy vibes, like you're in one of Bowser's galaxies or something like that. But now we only have 10 stages left. We're in the final world, Vortex. This stage, I always, whenever I'm on Unsteady Checkers, I always make a funny little joke about the transgender checkers on the floor.
You love to see it.
Trans rights, everyone. Wait, why am I going for the IL strat? Okay. Let's not go for the IL strat. Actually, I do always go for the IL strat once, because it is really, really cool. Fortunately, the RTA strat is just as cool. And also playing it casually is just as cool. Twirler is a fantastic stage. Okay, I cannot believe I did not fall off there. I felt my momentum drifting to the left, and if that had happened, I would have fallen off of the Mobius donut. that was an unfortunate bounce. Also, I should mention that as this is the final world theme of the run, time is going to be coming up relatively soon. We only have about 4 or 5 stages left. But of course I will call about that one more time when we get to the last stage. Now we got fish bones. The stage looks like fish bones. We're gonna skip the first little clock thing, whatever you want to call it, which does save 4-ish seconds. Unfortunately, there is a way to beat that stage in like 4 seconds, but instead of 12, but it is not safe to go for whatsoever. At least as of yet. Maybe there will be a way to make that strat marathon safe in the future. I would love that. But as it stands now, it is not the safest thing to go for. I am playing clumsy on that 3rd frame. Oh yeah, one other mechanic enrolled out that I just remembered I'm going to be utilizing on the next stage is camera turn multiplier. So you can adjust your camera turn multiplier to adjust the speed that the camera will be turning when you make movement inputs. Having your camera turn multiplier be set higher or lower makes certain strats possible. So we set the camera turn to 0.9 for whirling wires to make that green gold strat possible. Also, this is the final stage. Time will be when I go through the huge goal in about 5 seconds, as long as I don't get destroyed. I got destroyed. Cool. So even though the stage is huge and the goal is also very huge, it is very easy to just time. Just go sailing into the abyss.
GG. What a fantastic run.
Thank you. That went much better than practice went earlier today, I will say. Anytime I'm able to get a sub 40 IGT run, I am over the moon. That category is bonkers tough.
Yeah, it looked like sub 40 RTA on our timing too, so keeping it super fast. Thank you so much. Please, you've done it once before. We'd love to hear you do it again. Tell the people where to find you. Tell the people who you'd like to shout out before we take it out.
All right, so you can find me on Twitch and YouTube and actually all social media platforms that I care about at SloshW. I do a lot of Marble Roller content, a decent amount of Sonic content these days, and I'm also learning to speedrun Octopath Traveler 2, if anyone is interested in any of that. I would like to give some shout-outs to the Rolled Out speedrunning community. Really encouraging, really cool people. Shout out to the Rolled Out dev team for making this fantastic game, and also for, again, giving me access to the Canary branch so that way I could show off this fantastic category to the world. I had so much fun running it. And shout outs to my older sister who got me into speedrunning. I see Susie in the chat. Hey Susie, thank you for getting me into speedrunning. And again, finally, shoutouts to Team Green Gaming for giving me the opportunity to run both Sonic and Rolled Out. Both of these runs were an absolute blast and joy to do. And to everyone in chat, make sure you're getting your donations in, make sure that you're hydrating, and make sure that you're stretching. That's going to be all from me, but there are still so many fantastic runs coming up soon, so you don't want to miss those. But,
amazing. Truly, that